What's up, peepsicles? Long time no speak. I haven't uploaded a video to this channel for a long time, but I have picked up a few knives recently, which I think I would like to give a review on. This one I've actually had for a good long while, but it was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. So much so, I've looked back through my orders. I can't even remember what it's called, but it is a boker. It is one of Haynes's collaborations, so they tend to pick a knife, usually a lock knife, like the Pilar, and they will give it the well-known Haynes red G10 scales. Tends to have a Haynes logo on it, and they will be UK legal. So that gives us two choices over here. Usually they are either a slip joint, like the Luna, or a double detent, and this is a double detent. I only have a couple of double detent knives because, well, I don't really like them. They tend to be very weak on the closing, and that worries me a bit if they don't have a safety mechanism, which we will get into. This one is a boker. Obviously, it impressed me so much that I can't remember the name of it, and I've tried to look back through the orders and I can't find it. But like I say, this one was a bit of a disappointment because when you look at it, it's it's good looking for what we're allowed over here. I love, to start off with something positive, the profile, the fact that the blade disappears completely. There's nothing poking up above the handle, very slim. The pocket clip is deep carry and works very well. It's easy to get in and out of the pocket. It's nice that you have metal one side, makes it feel that little bit more premium rather than just really plasticky. But what really sold me on this was pictures of the blade. I'm sorry this isn't clean, but it is under 3 inches, so legal in England, and it has a decent amount of stock to it. So it looks like it should be a harder working blade than something like the Luna, for instance, which is very slicey, full flat grind. This is a saber height flat grind with a fuller that runs the almost the length of the blade. And because of the difference in blade stock, I thought, this is more of not heavy duty, but it's going to stand up to a bit more than your average UK legal. That's how I saw it when I bought it. But in reality, I just can't understand why they chose this design to make a Haynes exclusive, if you like, and why have a blade that is obviously designed for a little bit harder work with the rest of the flaws of this knife. So the problem is, this knife originally was obviously a frame lock. You can see by the cutout, which is still cut out there, that it would have been a frame lock. And I think if it was whatever this knife was based on, the original version of this knife, I would probably really like, but obviously it's not legal for me to carry that day to day. It's supposed to be a flipper, but nothing sticks out. So you have this, textured part both sides. So it's difficult to know, because the knife is so symmetrical. You pick it up and no, it's not that side, it's that side. And because it doesn't stick out at all, you can't slow roll it. You can only get to there, and then the back of the tang of the blade disappears, and you have to change position and open it like that. What I tended to do was get past the initial part of the opening and then flick it. So fidgety wise, I suppose it's all right. The problem is that it's so weak on the back. I know double detents tend to be weak like that, but this one is just on another level. I thought that about the Pilar when I first got it, but to give you a demonstration, it's no contest. I mean, you could breathe on that and it will start to close on you. In fact, I don't know whether I can do this behind the camera without cutting myself. If you shake it hard enough, it will close. And there is no safety mechanism. So on the Polar, yes, it's fairly weak to get past that initial part of the closing, but you have a large finger choil there, so it cannot close on your fingers. If you're gripping it fully, even if what you're cutting, you go in the wrong direction and it starts to close, it's not going to cut you. The worst I've ever had is because the blade goes right up to the end before the choil. It slightly nicked my finger before, drew blood, but nothing serious, didn't require a plaster type of thing. This, on the other hand, is 10 times weaker than this one, and there is no finger choil. So this has happened to me multiple times with this knife. You're cutting through cardboard and the blade will close on your fingers. I've cut myself multiple times with it. It's so weak, no finger choil, no half stop, obviously because it's a double detent. I would say this is the most dangerous in terms of cutting yourself, the most dangerous knife I probably own. I just can't understand why you would put what appears to be a hard-working blade for something of this size in non-locking knives, if you know what I mean, to comply with our rules, but make it so that you can't even cut cardboard without it closing on your fingers. It's just daft. Sorry, you nearly fell over there. I can't understand why they did it. It's such a silly knife. I was very disappointed. So I barely carry it, if at all, now. Obviously, you've got the Haynes logo there. As I said before, the pocket clip works very well. I think I would really enjoy the original version of this knife. One thing I can say that I really like about it is that detent on closing. If you look, when it gets the last bit, it just gets sucked in, and that closing detent is very enjoyable. I suppose it's nice to play around with and fidget with, but as an actual knife, it's pretty rubbish, if I'm honest. And if you're going to make it so weak to get past that detent on closing, why wouldn't you just give it a very skinny, full flat grind? It's so mixed up, this knife. I don't really understand its purpose. I know some people have said, if you've got nothing good to say, then why do the review in the first place? Well, because I've always been, I buy these knives with my own money. It's not, which is why I stopped uploading, to be honest. My circumstances changed and I didn't have the spare money to be buying knives all the time to review. But also, I'm not getting sent these to review. This was purchased out of my own money for my own use. And if I'm disappointed with it, or I think there's flaws, I will review it. If I think there's good things, I'll tell you that as well. So that's where we are. I do have a couple more coming up. I am going to review them, which I really like. All I'll say is Kaiser on a roll at the moment, and I really like what they're doing. So this isn't all negative, just, I suppose, a little bit of a warning. If this is still being sold, I haven't checked, although it looks like a more heavy duty, if you look at that tip, heavy duty option for something UK legal to carry every day. It's so weak on the back spring. When I cut through cardboard, it closes. Cut myself multiple times with it. It looks cool, but it doesn't really function very well. So there you have it. I hope somebody found that useful, and I will come back with something more positive soon. Ta-ta.